All right, what's up, everybody? So, you're headed to prison. How do you prepare for that? What can you expect? Let's see here. A buddy of mine told me that I should make this video series about a prison tutorial, basically. Somebody that's headed to do some time. Unfortunately, it happens. It might not have ever happened to you. It might have. For me, I've done 6 years in prison in my 20s. I'm 39 now, about to be 40. I got out for the last time when I was 30. So I've been out almost 10 years. But in this series, I'm just going to break it down, what to expect, how to prepare for it. So basically, all right, let's say you're going through the court process and you're facing prison time for whatever you did. There's different levels to prison. I've watched a bunch of prison movies. Pretty much all of them are bullshit. I wouldn't give any of them validity of being how prison really is. A lot of people think it's just all fighting, killing, raping, stuff like that. You know, that exists, but it's not like the movies portray it. First of all, do whatever you can to avoid going to prison. Any plea bargain you can take. Prison sucks. Being locked up sucks. The worst part of it is losing those months, years of your life that you'll never get back. That is for sure the worst part of it. But if it's inevitable and you know you're going, the way to prepare yourself for that is 90% mental. You got to get yourself right in your head and face the fact that you're going to be gone for a little while. The majority of prison sentences, are 18 months to 3 years, maybe a little more. But usually on the low end is going to be about 18 to 24 months. Of course, if you're going for life or whatever, I can't speak on that. The longest sentence I did was 2.5 years. I did 6 total, 3 different times. So, fortunately, at the time, I didn't have any children. I can't imagine how difficult it would be to prepare yourself mentally if you have children. So I can't speak on that. I was locked up with a bunch of guys that did have kids, though. And you do have a lot of in-depth conversations in there with your cellmates and with other people you're locked up with. Some of them you get really close with. I mean, brotherly, to where you're with somebody 24/7. You either love them or hate them at the end of the time. It's just the way it is. I'm going to also get into the aspects of, the gang life in there, which they call them organizations. They don't call them gangs. But I'm going to get into the different levels of that. Me, myself, I never joined up with anybody. I didn't feel the need to, because I had a certain skill as doing tattoos, and that carried over well with everybody, all the different organizations in there. So I didn't really have to worry about that much trouble. But anyway, as I said, to prepare for it, you're going to have to do time. Don't run away from it. That's your worst mistake. I've tried that, packing up my shit and heading cross country. You can only run for so long, man. Then you just kind of get tired of it. You're just ready to face the consequences and knock it out. I've ran for a year before, and finally just said, let's go ahead and get this time over with. Then you realize that you could have been over halfway done with your time. So, like I said, prepare for it. Get your mind right. Know that you lose all your rights as a free citizen. You are now the property of the state or the federal, whichever way you're going. You're going to be treated like dog shit. You're going to be treated like a nobody, which is what you are basically in there. No matter how nice or respectful you are, which I highly recommend being respectful to the guards. That goes a long way in there. You don't have to kiss their ass. You just have to be respectful. If you have family on the outside or really good friends, a little bit of money in there goes a long way. I had my dad at the time would send me $100 a month. $100 a month, you can survive in there just fine as far as being able to buy, hygiene products, some food and some snacks, which, they feed you in there. It's not great, but just a little bit of extra money each month. He would send me $100 a month. So in there, that's basically like having $1,000 out here. It's not enough to get rich, but you can survive, especially in there. You have no bills. You can go ahead and cancel everything you own on the outside. Sell what you can. If you own a vehicle, you don't owe any money on it, you can get a couple grand or whatever for it, get rid of it. Because if you don't, somebody that you trust, you think you can trust, is going to fuck you over with that and tear your shit up or sell it or whatever. Stack up as much cash as you can before you go, and then have somebody you can trust to send you money every month. Don't go and deposit $5,000 on your books if that's all you got to your name. Don't do that at one time. That's just dumb. Just have somebody send you $100, $200 a month. Try to leave on good terms with everybody your friends and your family. Any bridges that you may have burned, try to make it right, man. Any people you've made your enemies that used to be your friends or family, take the time and try to make things right with them. Don't do it in a fake way because you need somebody while you're on the inside. Just you don't want to go in there with grudges on the outside because you are not a part of the free world anymore. That's what everybody calls everything in there, whether it be a Coca-Cola or, going out to eat at Cracker Barrel or going to a steakhouse. Believe me, that's big topics of conversation at night in there when you're just hanging out. Stomach's growling a little bit, and that's all you talk about is when you get out. This is what the first thing you're going to eat. That's one of the big topics of conversation. But to prepare yourself, you need to go ahead and make amends with everybody you can, and get it in your mind that you are going to be a prisoner for a little while. And it's a whole different way of life in there. Things don't carry over in there that they do out here. You might be book smart, you might be smart in your head, you might be a big badass on the street, you might know how to fight, you might know how to do certain things that others don't. That's not going to carry you very far in there just because you got some good hands. Don't think if you go in there and start whipping on people, they're going to shank you. They're going to stab you in your sleep and kill you. I mean, you just don't walk around in there and just knocking people out and think it's okay. It's good to know how to fight because you will more than likely get in at least one fight while you're in there. But just don't go in there with a Billy Badass attitude. Let me think what else to prepare. The money thing is important. I've seen people go in there and without $1 and they make it through several years of incarceration just fine. Just a little harder when you don't have any help on the outside. Tell your relatives that writing letters is very important. That's all we look forward to mail call every night. When you're in there, that's a big thing, man. When they call you out and you get a letter, doesn't have to have anything in it, no money, no nothing. Just a letter, 1-page letter, just letting you know how things are going out there. And man, we miss you and we can't wait for you to get out and this and that. So let your family and your friends know that it's important that they mail you a letter, once a week or once every 2 weeks. It helps a lot. The visitation thing is also good once you get to that point, which I'll get on that later. It's going to be a while from the day you turn yourself in to the day that you start your sentence before you go through the classification process. They move you to a different location out of the county jail. Then you got to go through all the classification and the orientation, intake. Then they determine where they're going to send you after that, whether it be a low-level Class A facility, Class B, Class C, maximum security, depending on the crime you committed. There's very, very different levels to incarceration. So, but this video's geared towards people that haven't ever done time. So 95% of you, it's going to be a nonviolent charge, armed robbery, all that stuff. It's going to be a nonviolent charge, and you're more than likely going to go to a minimum class work facility, which is where I've done the majority of my time. I have done maximum security time before, which is a different level, but normally I've been sent to a work facility, which you're still a prisoner, you're still locked up, you're still behind a locked door every night, but during the day you get to work in the free world. As I said, you always see those guys that are picking up trash on the side of the road or working at a state park or, in some government building in town, usually in a green and white striped uniform or something like that, or all white. Those are trustees. Those are guys that get the jobs. And when you're in there, man, picking up trash on the side of the road, walking 5 to 7 miles a day, you might feel sorry for those people, but I promise you, they will fight to the death over those jobs just to be able to get out there. You don't get paid anything. There's some places that pay, 10, 15 cents a day or whatever, but it ain't about that. It's being able to wake up in the morning, get on a bus or a van or a crew truck, and being able to go out into the free world, even though you're going right back to jail at night and you don't have any freedoms. You can't just do what you want. But those jobs are very, very treasured when you're an inmate. So when you see somebody out there working, don't feel sorry for them at all. That's the top of that's your biggest goal while you're doing time, is to get a job outside of jail. A prison job. But as far as preparing, like I said, at the time, I didn't have any kids. I did have a wife the last sentence I did, but she was gone in the first few months, which was kind of tough. And then once I got that in my head that she's gone, I recovered from that in a few weeks, and then smooth sailing from there on out. If you're a smoker, most facilities don't allow smoking. I know county jails, 90% of county jails, if not all of them, don't allow smoking. So you're going to go without tobacco for a while. Once you get to a prison or a minimum security prison, whatever, the ones I've been to allow smoking. You might as well get used to rolling up your cigarettes. So that's it's much cheaper to buy cigarettes that are in the packages that you roll up. There are guys that smoke Newports and Marlboros and all that stuff in there, but that's few and far between. And you're gonna have people buzzing over your head like pigeons on the beach or seagulls on the beach trying to get cigarettes from you. So get used to rolling up your cigarettes. I was a smoker, and then I quit while I was in prison. Just felt like stopping. But anyway, physically, most people go into prison. Most people come out of prison in better shape than they went in. Because in there, that's all you really have to do is work your job, whatever they give you. Some places you don't get a choice. You don't have a job. See, what else you going to do? You just work out. Push-ups, sit-ups. We make water bags to do exercise. We literally make bags out of garbage bags filled with water. Put them in a pillowcase, tie it up, use the mop handle or broom handle or something, and do your curls and do your overhead presses and you make it work. And then some places have actual, yards outside with weights and all that. But we'll venture into that on a later video. But this video, I just wanted to let you know how to prepare. Like I said, it's the mental part of it is the most important part. I'll tell you how not to go in there. Don't go in there looking for pity. Don't go in there looking for anybody to feel sorry for you. Nobody wants to hear your story, especially when you first get to county jail and you've already been sentenced, waiting to get shipped off to classification. Nobody cares. The other inmates don't want to hear it. The guards don't want to hear it. You need to mind your own business. As soon as you get in there, stay to yourself. Stay quiet, but don't be awkward. Don't walk around mean mugging people and stuff. If somebody says something to you, you talk back to them. Don't be a bitch. That's one of the top rules. Don't let anybody bully you or push you over. Because there are people that will try. And it might even be somebody you're looking at them, you're like, I know I could whoop this dude. Try to avoid physical confrontations at all costs because it will raise your custody level. If you're a troublemaker and you get in a fight, you can get more time added to your sentence for fighting. And your custody level could rise because you're a violent inmate. So avoid fighting at all costs, but like I said, don't be a bitch. If somebody backs you into a corner, literally backs you into a corner, fight your way out. I mean, come out swinging. I don't care if it's 4 or 5 of them. Usually they're not gonna, the ones that fight back, they're gonna leave you alone after that. The ones that are easy to be pushed around, they will, they'll get it, they'll make them pay protection money and all that stuff, and they'll take your food and they'll take your hygiene products and all that. I mean, if you go in there as a bitch, then that's the way you're going to be treated. But like I said, you don't have to be a badass either. Just show that you're a man and you'll stand up for yourself. And the bullies and the gangsters and all that stuff, they'll usually back off of you if they see you stand up for yourself. That's about it as far as preparation, man. Just get your mind right. Settle any grievances you have on the outside before you start your time. Do not go in there counting every single day. At first it's going to be real slow starting off. Once you get to where you're going and you get your own bed and you get your own locker, you start getting, a little bit of money rolling in from your family. You get the job. You're working Monday to Friday. And then on the weekend, you have your routine, whether you go out there and play some basketball or you might sit around playing cards. You might just like to watch some TV. You might like to work out a little more often than everybody else. Once you get into that routine, time literally flies by. Time goes by really fast at that point. And then it slows down again when you're down to your last few months. But, yeah, I mean, that's the preparation to it. I'm going to try to keep these videos under 20 minutes as I go through the series. The next video I'm going to do is from day one when you turn yourself in, or day one when you're sentenced and your time is beginning. That's when your time starts to count. And I'm going to go from there through the classification process, time frames. How long does this stuff take? What's the best things to tell them, for medical and food diets and all that stuff to get the best advantages in the system while you're in there. So that'll be our next video. And then we'll go on to prison after classification. But like I said, this is a video my buddy said, I got a buddy that's going to do some time soon. It's inevitable for him. And he was asking me some questions about prison. And he's like, dude, just do a video about it. Do a video series since you've done time before. there's nowhere for me to go to see what prison is like. And he said, I've seen all the movies. And I said, well, that's not the way it is. So the next video, we will go over the from day one. So let me know in the comments what y'all think, any questions you have, and I'll do my best to answer them in the videos as I go. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll let y'all later.